If you're anything like me, sometimes you might feel down, you might feel defeated, like your hopes are just crashing down and being smothered away by anything, really. You might feel like nobody cares about you. You might feel that your actions are so irrelevant to anyone that you just feel like giving up. You just feel like, what's the point? Let me tell you a little story. A true story, actually. Something that happened to me a few years ago that put a couple of things into perspective for me. So maybe it might for you as well. I used to work for the world's largest retail chain. The store that I worked at had two sides, grocery and general merchandise, each of which had their own receiving areas. My job took place in the general merchandise receiving area as an unloader, unloading trucks by hand, sorting incoming freight on pallets according to department. Now, I don't know if I have any Mexican in my blood, but oh my darling, I love Mexican food. If there is one thing I could eat often other than pizza, tacos and burritos. I mean, my bowels may not exactly agree with that statement, but you know what? The bodily carnage, small price to pay. Just saying. Anyway, I am kind of particular with my food, and I like to try new products, specialty products. And one night I was wanting to find this specialty salsa. I had seen this salsa at a local grocery store that was down the street from where I work. They kind of like had it on and off, so I figured maybe there was a chance that the place I worked at would have it. Now, since us unloaders had to work in the evenings, about halfway through our shift, maybe a little after, the overnight stockers would actually come in to start their shift. One of my responsibilities later in the day was to actually deliver to each department the pallets of freight that we had organized earlier in the day. Now, me being the eccentric genius that I am, I figured this would be a perfect opportunity. While I'm delivering the goods, I could have little conversations with the stockers. You know what I'm saying? I could ask them if they have ever seen this product or even heard of this product. And if they had seen it, where'd you last see it? So, that way I could maybe go over there and check again and see if it's still there. You dig? You got it? Among the night-dwelling, shenanigan-driven, overnight scoundrels, there actually were some really great people. One of which was a cute little middle-aged lady who worked on the grocery side. Well, she wasn't really little, she was just short, spout. That's code for slightly overweight. Just so you know. To this day, I can't really remember exactly what her name was, but I think it was something like Teresa or Thelma or something. So that's what I'll refer to her as, Thelma. In general, I didn't really talk to Thelma a whole lot. But you know how when you just kind of walk by somebody and just kind of greet them in passing, and they just give off this vibe, and you can just tell that they're a nice person? That's exactly how this lady would come across every single time that I'd say hello. So after I asked her if she knew anything about this product, her eyes lit up. It seemed like she was genuinely happy to help me. Not in a creepy way, just kind of like a, wow. She knew exactly what it is that I was talking about. She thought that we had it, and since we were like all the way at the back of the store, I just kind of asked her where it was, so that way I could go look for it later. So she told me where to look in the salsa aisle. I just kind of thanked her and just, went on with my day. That's it. So after I deliver a few more pallets, I go back on the general merchandise side. As I'm about to enter the aisle that we kind of store the full pallets of freight, I see something in the corner of my eye. I see Thelma walking toward me with a jar in her arms. So I just kind of stop dead in my tracks, and I just kind of wait for an explanation. Like, what is this? What is this? She immediately explains to me how she looked for the salsa in a few different places, couldn't find it, but she found this jar of marinara sauce that's from the exact same line of products. So not only did Thelma go to that place that she described in the aisle, she went to a few other places too, just to look for this stupid little jar of salsa that I asked about. And then, out of the corner of her eye, she found this jar of marinara sauce from the same line, and then she came all the way across the whole entire store, which is huge, just to come and show me what she found. Now, I don't know about you, but normally people don't go out of their way to do this kind of stuff for me. So as trivial as this seems, I felt honored. I felt like I actually mattered. So of course, I told her thank you, I appreciated it. Fast forward a couple months, I'm walking in to go to work. Now the time clock is right next to the door to the break room. Before I clock in, I look through the pre-installed window in the door to see what's going on in the break room. And I see a bunch of people huddled together. And I mean, that's something that doesn't normally happen. So I know something is going on. So I go inside there and I ask someone, what's going on? They begin to explain to me that one of the overnight stalkers passed away earlier that morning, and everybody's just kind of giving a moment of silence. I ask, who is it? And they tell me it was Thelma, flat out gone. Just like that. Died of some sort of natural causes. This threw me through a huge loop. It was one of those situations where nobody even knew about her health problems. I don't even think she did. No one could tell anything was wrong at all. Just a normal, happy lady. Like I said before, I don't really remember what her real name was. I never really knew anything about her personally. I couldn't tell you what her favorite color was. I had seen her every day at work for like a year, but didn't talk to her hardly at all other than in passing. As a matter of fact, I think one of the only conversations that I had ever actually had with her was actually this scenario in this story. And that is exactly what I remember about her. Her intentions, her kindness, and her willingness to help me even though we didn't even know each other. To everyone else, I was probably just another deadbeat unloader from the GM side. You can take from this story what you want. But to me, every time that I remember this story, I think about how one small gesture can really affect someone in the way that that's how they remember you. One small act of kindness that you partake in can literally change someone's life or someone's perspective in a dramatically positive way. Even with super small little things that require minimal effort on your part. To Thelma, what she did was part of her personality. You could just tell. She didn't really view it as a big deal in regard to the energy that it required from her. But to me, it was. It was a huge deal. Lots of times people are just really uncomfortable telling you how much they care. They feel it might be overly corny or overly sappy. It might be embarrassing to them. Who knows? Or you just don't have that connection where they feel that they can tell you these things. The variables are ridiculously endless. The only thing Thelma ever heard from me was, I thank you and I appreciate it. But she had absolutely no idea what kind of a profound effect that her actions would have on my life and the hope that her actions would bring to me for years and years. My thought, my idea on this is not for anyone to find their own Thelma and cling on to it. But my idea is about how you might just be the Thelma in someone else's life and not even ever know it. Now that right there, pure